Hi, I'm Tracy from the Sherwood Library, and we're going to be doing fun facts from Sherwood. So our first fun facts are going to entail copper from our Upper Peninsula and our northernmost areas of Michigan, which is known as the Keweenaw Peninsula. And in the center of Lake Superior, we actually have an inactive volcano that erupted 2.5 billion years ago. When that happened, it caused all kinds of chaos up there. We've got lava bombs, we've got basalts, and we have pumice rock. We also have bread crust lava bombs, and that happens when the outer part of the bomb actually hardens before the interior part of it, and it cracks it all up and it flakes and it peels just like a piece just fell off. So that's what that is all about. And later on, after all the chaos is said and done and the lava has erupted, it does a lot of changes to the earth composition, to the crust, to the mantle. And what happens is it created a lot of iron ore. This one is called specular hematite. And what it is, it's harder than pure iron, but it's much more brittle, if that makes any sense. And what happens is a variety of different hematite crystals form on top of this iron ore, and it creates this sheen look, if you will, on this particular piece of iron ore. It's very heavy, and like I said, it's got a lot of different composition in it, but the main majority of it is iron ore. Here we have copper nuggets, and these are actually, we got these up in the Keweenaw Peninsula and the Delaware mine, I believe. This is float copper, and this is the stuff that the glaciers left behind after the glaciers melted, and it pulled this stuff back down through Michigan from the northernmost Michigan. I should back up and tell you that up here on Lake Superior is the Canadian Shield, is what it's called. But when the glaciers retreated, it brought pieces of copper with it. And what happens when these pieces of copper are exposed to air and water and elements, it oxidizes and it gets that green look to it. So the Statue of Liberty, being that it's made out of copper, you'll see a resemblance to the colors. The Statue of Liberty is the oxidized green, as is this float copper when it's exposed to different elements. But since the nuggets came from in ground, they weren't exposed to all these different elements and weather and what have you. They were actually protected from the weather. So these are not, they're not oxidized. And there were other things that formed while Earth was, going through its little change up there in our Upper Peninsula. We get calcasite, and this is just another ore that comes out of the ground up there. This is magnetite, and it's highly magnetic, and I'll show you. It's one of two rocks that can actually be charged to become a magnet itself. But we're not going to talk a lot about that because that's a whole nother topic because there's so much detail to it. We have conglomerate rocks, and these were also formed when the eruptions happened, and all these little rocks solidified with sand and stuff, and it just kind of cemented them all in. And they're called conglomerate, but most of us know them as pudding stones. Very common in Michigan. Here we have lots of rocks who have a secondary element, copper, Cu29, on our periodic table, if you're interested. And what happens is this copper gets trapped in these rocks. And so you'll see a lot of these colors turn, green and blues from the oxidization that's taken place within these rocks. And then there's just more stuff that we can just throw in there and add to it. But that's what we've got for our copper mines. And hopefully we're going to be touching more on cool things in Michigan. I'd like to talk about our Great Lakes too, and maybe give you some fun facts on, the shapes and how they got their, water and all that fun stuff. But that's all from Sherwood. Thanks. It's good to see you all. Bye.